Now, I'm always hoping to find jumping spiders while out, but when the summer heat finally starts to break and fall comes to Oklahoma, I'm really hoping to find a particular species I've grown fond of, Phidippus mystaceus, a beautiful and cryptic species of jumping spider found across a good portion of the southeastern United States. This is an autumn maturing species, so I'll target oak-rich forests in my area from September to November, but October really seems to be their month around here. Just visually scanning oak leaves and really any object beneath oak trees has been pretty successful for finding adults. I have had pretty good luck finding other Phidippus species in trees themselves, like this Phidippus putnami spotted in a pecan tree. Here's a beautiful female I spotted on leaf litter while walking in the woods last fall. Take a look at those amazing patterns on her abdomen. Now, as for the general habitus of the female, I wonder why she looks the way she does. I don't really know how much of her life is arboreal, and it's just speculation on my part, but maybe that mottled gray appearance is cryptic, helping her blend in with the lichens on tree branches. Although I guess she would also blend in with tree bark and maybe even rock textures as well. Back in 2011, I nearly ran over this female mystaceus with my bike. Thankfully, I rescued her and was able to photograph her on a sunflower leaf, right behind the same natural history museum that would later put together an exhibit of my photos. The museum even commissioned an enormous inflatable Phidippus mystaceus to be made, greeting visitors at the museum. This is an animal I've been enamored with for a while now, first noticing and photographing them about 15 years ago, and that face just crept into my dreams and art. I have a deep respect for these spiders, so it's worth noting that I don't keep, breed, or buy animals, and all subjects in this video were found in and returned to the wild. Alright, let's roll back in time a bit to summer 2021, to a lake I frequent surrounded by mature oak trees. And by searching around these trees, I've consistently found immature Phidippus mystaceus in the summer. Here's a juvenile, maybe a male. And returning in the fall, I spotted this adult male looking up at me from a young oak sapling. Males have bright orangey-yellow legs contrasting a mostly gray body, with a varied amount of red hair on top of their cephalothorax. And, like the female, he has those wonderful spikes or tufts of hair on his head, and unique, deep green metallic eyes. As you can see here, the arrow is pointing at a little bit of red hair. And here is a close-up photo showing that the structure of the red CD might be a little different, but I don't have the resolving power to look into this any closer. Here he's grooming the foot of his left rear leg. I've pointed out here what I suspect is maybe a very small mite or other tiny invertebrate, which I didn't even notice while filming, only seeing later when editing the video. And the spider must have noticed too, because as you can see here, he wipes away the little guy with his right palp while grooming his face and eyes. There's a spot with semi-abandoned picnic tables in the woods where I look for spiders sometimes, and as I was about to take some photos of a mystaceus male I noticed another guy already on the table, and he had a lot more red on his head. A really handsome spider with deep green eyes. And not far away, a Platycryptus undatus male was wandering about. And over here was the Phidippus mystaceus I was just about to photograph on an oak leaf. On this island of a table, that Platycryptus quickly found my Phidippus, and although I was worried about a conflict, the Platycryptus seemed pretty startled by the Phidippus, eventually wandering off. Then, not through any encouragement on my part, the other mystaceus male, the red-headed stranger, showed up, and after a moment or two, became engaged in an intense stare-down. This went on for some time, even allowing me to take this photo without disturbing their locked gaze. And naturally, when I wasn't filming, the red-headed male at left pounced, and after a brief tussle, they ran away from each other. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, and I made sure to separate the two spiders before I left, returning the red-headed male to the same corner of the table where I initially spotted him, and the other bluer guy to a nearby tree. I care about these little guys, and I would never encourage them to fight, so I'm glad this ended well. That said, it was an interesting interaction I'd never seen before. What was going through their little minds during that stare down? Back in 2009, I placed a mature male and female together in an attempt to document the male's courtship display. And although I got a little video and audio of his palpal stridulation or interaction with the surface, the female wasn't receptive, and after a few failed attempts, I ended up separating them out of concern for the little male. And before releasing them again, I let him check himself out in the mirror. Alright, so why make a whole video about this species? Why Phidippus mystaceus? Well, first, maybe it's a little shallow, but I just think they're beautiful. They're such unique looking spiders with wonderful ornamentations and markings. I can't overemphasize how much inspiration I've gathered from their appearance. How could you not fall in love with someone so beautiful? And second, they're a bit of a mystery to me. You might have noticed this video is a little light on actual info, and that's because I just don't know that much about them, which is kind of weird to admit, as I've been looking for, watching, and documenting this species for over 15 years now. And in that time, I felt like I've been left with more questions than answers. Why do they look the way they do? What's with those tufts of CD on their head? How long do they live? Has habitat loss affected their populations? What do they think about when a mite passes by? Do they have memories? Do they dream? And finally, it's worth reiterating what important and beneficial animals spiders are. So keep an eye out for them in your area. Their beauty and fascinating behavior are always worth a closer look. If you'd like to read more, I've added links to a few papers and websites in the description. Alright, stay tuned for more videos soon, and thanks for watching.